We were talking about the receivers and just how tight of a position battle it's going to be.
Yeah.
And Sean, we played the audio, not going to replay it. When talking about the team and hard cuts, he organically went to wideout. And there's 12 guys for maximum 6 spots, right? That's the max number of wide receivers they're going to take, right?
You would think, right? So you only have 53 spots, and it kind of gets eaten up because you need 3 or 4 running backs, and they're probably going to take 3. And in this case, you have a fullback.
Right.
All right? And so if you have a fullback, that's one less spot for a running back or a receiver.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm thinking 6 at the most, Zach. 5 is kind of that number that they're gonna have 5 and no lower than 5.
Yeah, no lower than 5, no higher than 6.
No higher than 6.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a guy who just seems to make plays every day, and that's Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Lil Jordan.
And this dude, 6'4", 225, once upon a time, played at Texas. You guys know him. Played for the Broncos a year ago. Was with the Patriots for a cup of coffee in 2022 for 6 games. And the 3 previous years was with Sean Payton in New Orleans. We've seen this guy make plays. Remember at the end of last year in one of the final 2 games, forget who the opponent was.
The Chargers.
Was it the Chargers?
Yep.
He caught a pass, broke a tackle, ran for a 54-yard touchdown, which is, one of the highlights of his career for sure. And he's out there, man. He's just consistent.
Very consistent. Big body, okay, really good on, as special teams. And one of these receivers that you can count on. All right, he's not going to wow you, but he's going to do things right. And you can count on him if somebody is hurt. Cortland's not there. Tim Patrick's not there. Lil Jordan Humphrey is going to be there, okay? And he's going to be ready to play. And for some odd reason, okay, and maybe I'm just speculating, but every time Jarrett Stidham gets in the huddle and Lil Jordan Humphrey is right there on the side of him.
It's so true.
He's going to Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Yep.
Jarrett Stidham has made chemistry with Lil Jordan Humphrey, which is good for Lil Jordan Humphrey, okay, because it's getting him seen. Now, for Jarrett Stidham, it's like, hey, this is something you're going to have to work on. I know you're comfortable with him, and when you're moving quarterbacks around with the 3s, with the 2s, and you're trying to make a play, you're going to go to the receiver that you trust the most to make that play for you.
Yep.
So I can't fault Jarrett Stidham for doing that. But when you get in these preseason games, okay, they're still watching a little bit of film from last year, and if you go through a couple preseason games and you're getting Lil Jordan Humphrey involved more, they're going to try to key on him because they know that's your favorite target. So that's something just to look for. It's camp right now. Lil Jordan Humphrey's getting the balls he needs from someone like Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, and there's been literally plays that before they start, Phil has said to me out loud, he's going to Lil Jordan right here. Watch this. And then sure as heck, he'll go to Lil Jordan Humphrey. The most targets he got in a game last year was 4. Wouldn't you know it? It was the Chargers game playing with Jarrett Stidham. So that's definitely a name to watch. He's got chemistry with Stidham, and he's got clear coach-player chemistry with Sean. If you're going to bring him in from a separate organization, that tells you a lot. Now, it's not a guarantee for anything, but it's certainly a good omen for Lil Jordan Humphrey. And then a guy that, again, it's so early in his career, but if we're going to come in here and relay after over a week full of practices, padded, unpadded, on a guy that we're still waiting for to get going is Troy Franklin.
Troy Franklin. I was wondering when you're going to bring up, Troy Franklin. You're right, Zach. There's not one practice that I can sit here and say, hey, Troy Franklin was tearing it up.
Yeah.
Like, I've noticed him, right? He's a 4th-round draft pick. He went on and said how angry he was for getting drafted so low. And now it's like, okay, I'm expecting to show up to camp and him just explode. Now, Bo has tried to find Troy Franklin a couple times deep at the beginning of camp, and they just couldn't connect. Now, for Troy Franklin, when I'm evaluating Troy right now, it's like, dude, 1, you're going to have to step it up in team. 2, you're going to have to step it up playing special teams, okay? Because you are not going to be the starter right now. Right now it's looking like it's going to be Reynolds, all right, Cortland, Marvin Mims, and Tim Patrick is still in the mix right there.
Yep.
Now, for Troy Franklin, it's like, what else can you bring to the table? If you're not receiver 1, if you're not receiver 2, you got to be able to play special teams.
Right.
And when you're not out there playing special teams and you're trying to make plays, you got to get open.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing Troy Franklin get open enough. His routes are kind of like, if he's not getting the ball, I can tell when he's not getting the ball because he's not running hard. He's not running him off. He's not, you're not feeling it like, oh, he could possibly get the ball. It's more like I'm just out here running a route. I'm not part of the route tree.
Yeah.
And when he is part of the route tree, are you getting open? And I'm not seeing Troy Franklin get open enough.
Well, it's hard to argue because I'm out there watching every rep. And let me just say something going back to yesterday, because there's a small chance that someone that listened yesterday is listening right now and it's like, wait, I thought Zach said his name a couple times, because we were going through the pass by pass, like itemized Bo Nix and Stidham and Zach Wilson. And I said Troy Franklin's name twice yesterday by total mistake. Didn't realize it till after the show was over that I said Troy Franklin's name instead of Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
So I feel a little silly about that, but there's a lot of people in this business who are like, don't, just keep going forward. Doesn't matter. But since we're talking about this, it was such a big day for Reynolds yesterday, and it's been so lackluster for Troy.
Yeah.
I don't want to confuse them, so I did just want to say, Franklin is 6'3", 180, and he's light-skinned, and Josh Reynolds 6'3", 190, and he's light-skinned, and I just flipped it in my mind real quick.
And they're new faces. Josh Reynolds new both, to the Denver Broncos, and Troy Franklin's a rookie, so it's one of these things. It's a mistake, but yeah, Troy Franklin, the lack of us bringing his name up in a positive way.
I know.
That's alarming, man. And I keep saying it. It was a hot take for me, Zach, and you still are not on the train. You're like, hey, you think the draft pick holds weight. And for me, I've seen it multiple times in the league, and it may not be the case here, okay? But I've seen 4th and 5th round picks get cut because they didn't pan out, because they're not who they thought they were supposed to be, right? And then you see 5th round picks like Puka Nacua that are dominant, right? And so it's like something you need to watch out for during preseason is, what is Troy Franklin doing? Are you hearing about Troy Franklin on special teams and as a receiver?
Yeah, and I'll just say this, do you see 4th and 5th round picks get cut? Yes, you do. Do you see them get cut in their rookie year? Not as much, right? That'd be it would be unusual. And then you hear Sean, how glowingly he talks about the class. And the other wrinkle is that they moved up to get him, if I'm not mistaken, with the 102nd overall pick. You would like to think it'd be different.
You hope it's different.
You would like to think it's just about your performance. But I think, especially for his first year, I have Troy Franklin as a lock to make this roster. I just don't know unless he turns things around. And it's still early for the young man. We're talking about this guy's first couple of weeks as an NFL player.
He's a rookie.
He's a rookie. I just don't know, going back to that CBS forecast, fantasy football forecast of he's going to be 545 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, I'm not seeing anything out there that would lead.
Where you see that at. And on top of that, Zach, then this comes back to what Sean's saying. Then Sean's a liar. He wants the best 53 men on the roster. Okay? And if he gives up somebody like Bandy, who's out there just killing it, okay, because Franklin is a draft pick and they moved up to get him, it tells you a lot that it's not just about, hey, I want the best 53-man roster. It's about, hey, I picked this young man. Right. I want to be right. And a lot of times in the NFL, there's so many egos out there, all right, and it's like I'd rather be right than sit here and admit that I was wrong. Right out of the gate especially. Right out of the gate, But when you're looking around, Zach, Riley Moss is no one. They moved up to get, and, he may not start this year. Right, correct. It's really interesting. And again, like the dynamics of that league in particular and the inner workings and sort of underbelly of how they'll come to, because you're right. Sean's been saying it's about the best 53, the right 53. And he may make the roster over someone like a Michael Mann who does just make plays every single day. All right, really interesting. And by the way, Troy Franklin could kill it tomorrow. We could be coming in here. We're waiting for it, saying a different story, but we're just reacting to what we have seen thus far, and we haven't seen much from the young receiver out of Oregon. Okay, what were some of our bigger takeaways from practice number 8 when it came to the quarterbacks? That's coming up next.
Training Camp 2024 under construction is here, and we're back at the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan Zone. Thanks to Con Construction and Ting Internet. Schlereth and Evans will kick things off at 6 a.m. Presented by your Colorado GMC dealers. Then Stokely and Josh will react live to every practice until 2 p.m. Thanks to Qdoba.
Break by break.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
Gotta change my oil.
How about Valvoline Restore and Protect? It restores and protects your engine to run like new.
Get in zone.
It restores your engine to, like, factory clean?
And protects.
Get in zone.
So Valvoline Restore and Protect restores and protects.
Now you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for $37.99.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. To celebrate Team USA going for the gold, Xfinity is offering a gold medal deal. Now through August 11th, get their best offer with 300 megabit Xfinity internet and 1 line of unlimited mobile for just $35 a month for a year and free 5G phone. And the action doesn't stop there. Save on some of the biggest names in streaming by adding new Xfinity Stream Saver with Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for only $15 a month. Don't wait. When the Olympic Games end, so does this deal. Go to Xfinity.com/Team USA or call them at 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store near you today. Get the fastest connection to Paris with Xfinity, proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, equipment taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. After promo, regular rates apply to internet and mobile. Stream Saver price subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Actual speeds may vary and not guaranteed. Free 5G phone requires eligible trade-in. Select models only.
This is Brandon Stokely sitting here with Jeff Jr. of Trajan Wealth. You've helped a lot of people determine how much to put into their 401k and what investments to put it into. But you mentioned a big mistake that most people make. What's that?
One of the biggest